All right, so I guess it looks like I'm live. I guess, yep, nope, I see the little thing over there. Okay. So, hey everybody, it's Roberto. Another one of these late night vlog sessions. I'm actually doing a lot of editing right now. I'm actually doing a lot of work overall tonight. It's another late night working session on a Saturday for me. Well, I guess it's Sunday now. Um, Back from Atlanta, great trip out there. Met a lot of wonderful people, had a lot of great opportunities, filmed a bunch of stuff, editing photos. Going to be bringing back the Lightroom Raw edits and things like that. But I wanted to talk tonight about something. I made the mistake, I guess, of going through some of my comments on some things and talking to some people. And I say the mistake because it brings up something that I don't talk about a lot. I talk a lot about the overwhelming positive side of things that are going on with me. And I've talked about how I've overcome my past and my struggles with depression, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I live a carefree life every single day. There are things in life that genuinely worry me and genuinely bother me. And a lot of it isn't even stuff to even do with me personally. A lot of it is things that I worry about in the culture of creativity, which is the entire point of everything I do in terms of the content that you guys are consuming from me. It's because I want to change the culture and the nature of creative services. And I want it to not be the struggle that it was for me very early in my career. And I want people to get to a happier place in their career a lot faster in life. I want people to just have a better experience in doing the things that they love. And the thing about that is when I say that, I know, and I'm reading all the comments, and I know that a lot of people still don't believe me. And there's not much I can really do about that. And that's a frustrating thing for me, is that I don't know what more it would take, or what value, what disproportionate astronomical value I would have to create before the overwhelming majority of people believe me when I say that. And it's not just in YouTube, it's even in my everyday life, it's in my personal life. I have friends and family members who to this day do not understand why I do the things that I do. And that worries me and that bothers me because it makes me wonder and question whether I'm communicating my purpose and my goals effectively enough, because I don't think that people are stupid, even though I love the book Wizard's First Rule. And those of you who ever read Terry Goodkind will get that reference. I still don't necessarily believe deep down that people are stupid, but I feel like I'm hitting a brick wall sometimes in trying to communicate what I'm trying to accomplish, my motives and my intentions effectively to people, because otherwise it's very difficult to understand or rationalize why it's so hard to accept that I'm being genuine. And that's part of why I do these unedited, unscripted live blogs. A lot of you still don't believe me when I say I don't use a teleprompter in my videos. But between Blab and Periscope and Meerkat and Google Hangouts on Air, I've shown you guys that there's no teleprompter. If you see my eyes darting, it's because, one, I have a bit of issue with my vision. That's why I wear glasses. I can't even use a teleprompter because of my vision. And that's just, the bottom line. My vision's improving, thankfully. I'm not going blind, so don't be concerned about that. At least I don't think so. There is a history of glaucoma in my family. I constantly worry about that. I constantly worry about the mental health and the physical health and well-being of myself, given some of the history of things in my family. There are people who struggle with diabetes. There are people who have been victims of cancer. There are people who have been victims of mental illness. There are people who have been victims of massive clinical depression, and those things worry me and they weigh on me. But I don't necessarily think that those things worry me and weigh on me more than the idea of people not thinking that I'm sincere and genuine, because being sincere and genuine is something that a lot of people struggle with. It's something that comes at a price. Being noble, being honorable, being a good person, being an awesome person, it costs something. It costs opportunities. You end up leaving a lot on the table to do it, and it's hard. And doing the things that I do, a lot of them are not easy, which is why the majority of people don't do them. And so when my sincerity, my intentions, my character is put into question, it worries me, because I feel that it means that I'm not a good enough storyteller. And that's a hard pill to swallow, because I take a lot of pride in my abilities and the hard work that I've put in to grow those abilities and to grow creatively and to set new challenges for myself and to always try to deliver the most value and to be an effective communicator, effective storyteller, an effective marketer, and just a straight up and genuine person. And so when I see things that indicate that that's not the case, and I know you can't please everybody, I'm not naive, but when I see things, it makes me question it. It makes me question whether or not I'm doing a good enough job and whether I'm telling my story well enough. And it makes me worry and wonder if I'm ever going to get it right at the level that I want to, because it's not about people questioning me. It's about the fact that if they are, and if I've not been able to establish credibility with them, then I failed to create value for them. I might have failed to help them grow or to change their life or to do something that I really wanted to do for them. And that's what the hardest part is for me, is the idea of getting a little emotional now. I struggle with the idea of disappointing people. And it bugs me because I need to focus a lot more internally than I do. And it's something that I've reached out to people and that I'm getting a lot more help with and that I'm getting a lot of encouragement with. But the reality is that, not unlike a lot of you out there, I need to focus more on myself a lot. I spend a lot of time, whether it's my clients, I kill a lot of time sometimes hand holding my clients a lot more than I should. I spend a lot more time on phone calls than I should. And I'm happy to do it. And I'm happy to take a personal interest in them. But the reality is that it's not always a sustainable or a scalable thing. And it means working late nights like this. And it means these longer editing sessions. And it means risking burnout. It means having to invest a lot more money in my health and a lot more time in my health, which means that I can't do my personal artwork or products that I want to do, or create the value sometimes I want to create for you guys and put out more content or be on time with things that I want to do for you, or do more stuff in the newsletter, do more free templates and giveaways, more resources and everything like that. I can't do those things if I'm spending time in places that I shouldn't necessarily be spending them in effectively, because I'm concerned about over indexing on whether I'm letting people down in some way, shape, or form. By worrying about letting people down in the micro, I'm letting people down more in the long run, and I'm letting myself down when I do that. And I worry that a lot of you are doing the same thing, and that's why I want to talk about it. I want you to know that I'm not perfect. I want you to know that just because I've arrived at a certain point in my career doesn't mean that I'm not going through the same things that you're going through. I have real worries and concerns, and I have still self-doubts that I constantly work through and fight through and struggle to, just like I talked about in my video. The thing is, I don't let those things stop me. I keep going and I keep looking for growth, and I don't let the fact that those things bother me stop me from having the conversation. I refuse to not answer honestly in a comment or in a video because I think people will take it the wrong way, or I think that they'll be offended, or if I did that, I'd be being soft. I'd be what, like, Gary Vaynerchuk says when he says, oh, people are soft, people are soft. If I'm more concerned with people taking something the wrong way than delivering value, than being honest, by being genuine, by being my best self, by being the person that I really am, then that would be being soft and me being pandering, and I'm not going to do that. I'm never not going to be real with you guys. I'm going to try my very best to make a commitment that no matter where I get in life, no matter how successful I become, no matter what's at stake, that I can be real and I can be authentic and I can tell you how I feel about something, and I can respectfully disagree, or I could try and see another side of something. But if I don't believe in that side of it, I'm not going to advocate for it more than whatever I do believe in, but I'm not going to not have the conversation. A lot of people, I did a recent video about Affinity Designer, which is a budget solution in design that came out recently. A lot of people think it's an Adobe killer or Photoshop killer. They want to jump ship from Creative Cloud. I constantly advocate for Adobe Creative Cloud, not because I'm an Adobe fanboy, but because I believe in it. I believe in it because I've seen its ability to make me successful, help other people be successful. I've talked to the heads of industry, and I know that while it seems like a good idea to try and save money sometimes on either free software or cheap software, that the long-term value in your career sometimes is that you get bad habits. You don't have something as effective to leverage on a resume or credibility with clients. And that also, when things are free or cheap, sometimes you don't commit to them. You don't make the investment. I put out sometimes over, I think I've put out maybe 60 plus videos on growing a YouTube channel. I think I put out 160, 170 videos about graphic design. I think I put out maybe 75 or so Adobe Photoshop tutorials. And all of those assets are free, right? I know that some of you who have watched the content have not watched the overwhelming majority of that free content from me. I know that you haven't watched the overwhelming majority of Sean Barry's YouTube videos or Stephen Looney's. You know, I know those of you who are marketers have not watched the majority of Amy Schmittauer's videos over on Savvy Sexy Social. I know that the free stuff that's out there, that even me, all the free things that are sitting in my Kindle that were free ebooks, I haven't read them because I didn't have to invest in anything. I didn't have to put any skin in the game. I didn't make them a priority. So I think that one of the things that I struggle with is the things that I don't make a priority, and I need to invest in myself more. And investment is a commitment of money and a commitment of time. I invest heavily in my tools that allow me to execute. I invest in the books on my bookshelf. I've invested in some of my training, and I invested in my education. And I think that those things are important. And I think that what my concern becomes is that sometimes people are not investing in themselves in the right way. And I worry about it because I worry about it for myself. I worry about, am I investing my time? Am I investing my money? Am I investing in the right relationships? I worry about these things just like the rest of you. And, you know, it bothers me when I look at something and I realize that part of why some people probably aren't taking me seriously or believing me might be because of all of the free advice that I'm giving, without understanding that if I wasn't on some level being successful, I could never leverage the time to give of my time and give that for free. And then I worry that the day that, and it's coming soon, it's coming this quarter, I honestly somewhat worry because I'm not soft, so I'm not very worried about this. But I know that the minute that I release a product for $30 and $50 and $100, that some of you, and maybe I'm wrong, but I know some of you are going to immediately flame the comment section and you're going to say that I'm the free guy and I should give it all away. And the reality is that if I did that, a lot of you would never take it seriously. It would sit in your inbox. It would sit on your bookshelf. It would sit on your computer, and you'd never use it because you didn't have any skin in the game. But what if you had to pay $30 for something? I know when I pay for something that I use it the day that I pay for it. I know that it doesn't sit in the box. I know that I can't wait to get into it, unbox it with, the handy dandy bat knife in the unboxing videos here on the channel. And then I get right into it. And then I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to use this, like this microphone or whatever it is. I can't wait to use something that I've invested in and get the maximum value and return on it. So I think on some level that people don't take me seriously because I haven't asked them to invest. And that makes a lot of sense. It's something I struggle with, and it's something I worry about. I worry about people who don't invest in themselves. I worry about the fact that people don't want to invest in Adobe Creative Cloud and they want to use something like Affinity Designer because it's cheap in the short term. And that could make sense initially, but I don't want people to cheat themselves out of a long term of investment in the best tool they could possibly have. I'm using and have made a great return on investment on my Nikon D3200. Does that mean that I don't want to and I'm not going to ever invest in another camera? I'm looking at trying to get the Nikon D5500 right now. At some point, I want to invest in a full frame Sony camera like the A7R II. And I have my reasons for that. But I also don't think that making those investments right up front in a time where it doesn't make sense are the right thing to do, because I don't believe in throwing money away. I worry that people think about money too romantically. I worry that I used to throw away money on crap all the time. I used to do a lot of collectibles, which is why I only do Loot Crate now for the most part, because that satisfies my geek needs and my nerd needs for collectibles and comics and things like that in a reasonable, measurable way that makes sense for me, because it's $20 a month and I can deal with that. And then sometimes if I like them, I'll unbox them on camera and then I get some ROI there. But the thing is, I try to only invest in experiences and things that make sense. And I try to invest in other people. I feel like my commitment to this content is my investment in the growth of people as creatives. And that's why I do it. is because I feel that that's an investment. And I feel that it has a return. And I'm not just looking for a monetary return there, but it doesn't mean that a monetary return isn't important for the rest of you to worry about and to think about. And I think that there are a lot of people, and I see it in the comments. I saw it in a comment tonight. People have this thing, they're begging me not to glorify money like everyone else. And the thing is, I hate the Wolf of Wall Street, like people who like that's their hero or that's their thing. I don't like that. I'm gonna be honest, I don't like that thing. But I also don't like when people whine about, well, don't glorify money or money is the root of all evil. Money is just an amplifier. It's an amplifier for your own power. Because power is the ability to act. I read in Tony Robbins' book that power is the ability to act. And I love that definition because it makes absolute sense to me. And money is part of that leverage. Time is too. And I would argue time is more valuable and more powerful than money. But money can be very important in getting back your time. Because right now, a lot of you are working a 9-to-5 job and you're trading your time for money when your time is much more valuable. And that's why you should build systems of wealth that scale, that let you buy back your time. I buy back my time by paying somebody to mow the lawn, so that instead of spending those 2 hours doing that, I can spend 2 hours making 5 times to 3 times the money that the person I paid to mow the lawn is making for that time, because that's the value proposition of my time. So burning that time doing that doesn't make sense for me. If I don't criticize people who scale to a certain place in life where they hire a driver or they hire a cook or a maid. People think that's pretentious because why can't you cook your own meals or do your own laundry? What they're doing is they're buying back the value of their time. When we ask people as creatives to hire us, I encourage you to make them think of it as an investment, because if they're fiddling around with a logo in InDesign, Illustrator, or Photoshop instead of paying you to do it, they're burning that CEO money of they're messing around for 10 hours instead of making a $10,000 deal to save paying you $1,000 on a logo. And that doesn't make sense. So don't do that in your own life where you're not buying back your time appropriately. And I think that that's a key. I think buying the right tools, I think investing in yourself, I think not worrying about the money, but worrying about your time, getting it back and using that time to leverage effectively makes the most sense. I use tools and I'm willing to pay the $50 a month as an investment to Adobe because it's the tool that lets me work the fastest and I don't have to figure it out. The disproportionate amount of time value that I get back by doing that means that I'm saving thousands upon thousands of dollars when I use that, versus if I got a free tool that took me twice as long to use, but I paid $0 for. I'm not really saving money. I'm giving up too much time that I could use to disproportionately make more money. And so it's important to worry about money. It's not enough. It's not important to worry about it to the point to where it depresses you, it stresses you out, or to where it leads you in the pursuit of doing less than awesome things, screwing people over, being a bad person. I don't believe in that, but I believe it's naive and I believe it's overly romantic to say that money doesn't matter. I say sometimes that I'm not worried about the money. And I mean that only in very specific instances. I'm not worried about the money that I'm getting upfront on certain things because I've created a system that allows me the luxury of that. If you haven't done that, then you absolutely need to be concerned about the money, because cash is oxygen. Another Gary Vaynerchuk quote, cash is oxygen. I think we all need to worry about breathing as much as possible. So do that. I mean, that's why I've got a health tracker on. So be concerned about your health. Be concerned about the investment in your health, because if you don't have money, when you have health issues, when it's time to take care of that, it becomes problematic. And that means that you don't have the ability to act if you can't stay healthy, if you can't eat right, if you can't take care of yourself, if you can't take care of your family. There's nothing that is worse than that, because it's going to severely limit your ability to take any kind of meaningful action, which means that you can't create the value that you want and make the changes and do the things that you're supposed to do in the world. And you can't fulfill your ultimate purpose and objective. And I genuinely believe that. And my big concern and worry is that so many of you watching this are just not going to believe me when I say that. And I don't know what else I have to do in telling my story to make people believe me. I don't. And the reason I do worry about it is because, one, I have to get over that internally. That's one of my struggles. That's one of my problems, is that need for people to take me at face value and to accept what I'm putting out there is an internal struggle of mine that I'm overcoming. It doesn't get me depressed. It doesn't make me anxious, but it's something I constantly think on. And it's something that makes me leave way too much value on the table and is keeping me from fulfilling my ultimate purpose in some ways. The time that I spend worrying about that is time that I'm not writing the Just Create Awesome book and helping all of you overcome and execute on your creative goals. The time that I'm spending on that is me not putting out the 30 days to an awesome podcast ebook and video guide to help you guys launch a podcast and get your message out there. It's the time that I'm not finishing the production and then the editing of the YouTube beginner guide to help you guys market in video marketing. It's the time that I'm not creating the freelancer's guide. And I haven't figured out what the title of that yet is. Probably something to do with the freedom of freelancing, to help some of you begin to launch that journey and then transition over time out of a 9-to-5 job that you might be unhappy with or setting an artificial ceiling for you. So every time that I'm worried about something that I don't need to be worried about, or I'm worried about something that I do need to worry about and I'm not crushing it and getting rid of that worry, my big worry there is that then I'm not fulfilling my mission and I'm not creating the value and the change that I want to make, because I want and need and desire to fulfill the legacy of changing the culture of creative services over the next decade. I really want to do that. I don't want people to go through what I went through and work for companies that don't value them. I don't want people to build companies that don't value creativity and don't value human beings appropriately and create win-win-win-win scenarios. I don't want people to create companies that don't value the customer relationship and don't value storytelling and good presentation and good communication. I don't want those things. And so I'm taking action. I'm taking action to build my brand, to build my influence, to establish my credibility, to create that value, to help people grow, to invest in them. To invest in myself, to help my clients grow successful businesses that create jobs, doing all those things. And every minute that I worry about something that doesn't matter, or something that I've made matter disproportionate to me that doesn't align to my goals, every time I do that, I'm failing. And I realize that, and it's painful. And it's probably the most painful part of what I go through on a daily basis, is the prospect of failing in that way, because it's not a failure that's acceptable to me. There are a lot of things I can fail at. There are a lot of things I can take. There's a lot of value I can leave on the table, and that's not part of it. I can't do it. And that's just who I am. And that's just what my story is I can't deal with that. That is not acceptable to me. I can fail to do a lot of things, but that's not one of them. And so that's just what I'm thinking on this late night. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. I want you guys to really understand where I'm coming from. I want to be able to get past this point of feeling like people don't believe me. And I'm working on that. That's part of my personal growth and journey. I want you guys to believe that I'm not perfect and that I don't think that I am. I think that a lot of people get that wrong. I know exactly what my faults and my problems are. I know that I say too much. I'm very self-aware of a lot of things. I'm probably too self-conscious of a lot of things. I know a lot of you are struggling with that, and I'm trying to help by sharing and being upfront about what my journey is and what that looks like and how I'm dealing with it. And I know that a lot of you have benefited from it. I hear it from you guys all the time, and I genuinely really appreciate that, literally from the bottom of my heart. It means a lot, and it keeps me encouraged to keep doing that kind of thing and to keep being honest with you guys. And that's all I really want to do. Is I want to create a much more awesome experience for all of us as we go forward, because we're all locked in this room called Earth together, floating through the universe to, God knows where. And if that's the case, let's have an awesome time of it, right? Anyway, I hope you guys are having a good night wherever you are. I'm going to get back to what is probably an absurd amount of work and try to see if I can get to sleep by 4 a.m. this morning. Wake up at about 10, go for that jog. What else did I have to do? And then I have to grind out a couple of videos. I have to work on one of the guides. I have to finish writing a couple of posts that I'm going to be doing for the email list for you guys who are joining the newsletter. And then I have a few articles that I want to get ahead on, because I want to help one of my publishers out. One of my editors is going to be out of town coming up. So I need to actually probably get about a month ahead on my articles. So I'm going to do that tomorrow all day. And I'm going to still go for my run though, because I need to do that. And I probably at some point will, I think I'm going to actually draw something. I think I haven't done that as far as a really actual piece of genuine artwork. I think I'm going to draw something. And I think this week I'm going to try to do something personal with it in terms of artwork in Photoshop to get back to that thing I told you I was worried about not making enough time to do my own artwork. So that's what my weekend is going to look like. And I hope a lot of you are out there executing on the things you want and that you're creating the value that you want and you're taking some time for yourself this weekend. I talk a lot about grinding. I talk a lot about hustling, but take some time to not worry about the things that you're struggling with and to focus on some of the things that you're good at and some of the things that you genuinely enjoy and go ahead and do that. So I want to leave you with that thought before we close out tonight. And I want to, just say thank you so much for tuning in with me. I see 16 of you are night owls, and I really appreciate it. So just thanks for that. And remember, create something awesome today.